cheers. Welcome to my channel. This is an end of the month for January tarot oracle reading. And Sagittarius, you are the star of this astrological insight. If your sun sign is not Sagittarius, we still all have a little bit of Sagittarius in us. If you have your birth chart, which house is Sag in? That's where this energy will show up for you. My goal is to provide valuable information to empower you. And just be advised, this is a general or collective reading, so parts may or may not resonate. As well, this is a timely reading, meaning if you're watching it right now, it's the perfect time for you. If it's been some time since I've posted it, go back and think about what happened during that time, and it may give you more clarity on your situation. I'm going to begin with the underlying energy from the bottom of the deck. Oh, I have my deck upside down, sorry. All right, I'm just going to double check here. I updated my phone and its settings are all different. I just want to make sure nothing's the same on my phone. All right, so the Magician is the very first card that the Fool comes across in the major arcana when he begins a journey, and that's a cycle of 21 cards. So this Magician card is talking about you have all the tools that you need for your journey, and it's as above, so below. So pointing to the sky and bringing from the heavens down to earth. So whatever your mission from the heavens is, what you were placed on this earth to do this cycle. And we have the infinity symbol above his head. And so this is saying it's an energetic upgrade. It's good news. And then we have, for the underlying energy of the internal forces, which will be in the bottom part of my spread here, we have the Emperor. So the Emperor has really been showing up in these end of the month readings. I've noticed quite a bit. The Emperor is the energy of all four of the minor arcana kings rolled into one person. So he is all about performance. He's wise, so he has a lot of intelligence. He also is fiery and passionate and sexy. And he is, what else have we, he's got good control of his emotions. So he is emotionally available because of that. And he has the ability to deal with finances and money and all the beauty that that can be brought down from earth to, or from heaven to earth. That's my cat Stella in the background. She's going to join us now for this reading. Are you gonna purr? She's got happy feet, so she'll send some good vibes your way. So the Emperor has his armor on underneath his robe there. That means that he's ready in a moment's notice to take advantage of opportunities. This is real strong alpha male energy. And then we have the Queen of Cups. So the Queen of Cups is sitting on her throne, and she has the only cup in all of the cup cards that is with a lid on it, and that is representing her ability to be a container for unconditional love. And the Queen of Cups sometimes represents the maternal line, but it represents someone who is definitely marriage material, someone who you could have a family with, that she has a lot of love for her family and her home and children and pets and animals all over the world in general. She's just a loving person in general and represents that type of love. And then we have the Queen of Pentacles. So we have a couple queens here. They're trying to match up to this Emperor, I guess. So I'm working right now on this bottom part. This is your internal forces. And your internal forces are what you can tell if it's something from your internal forces, because you'll be asking questions like, what if? IF, internal forces. So it's what if I do this? What will happen if I don't do this? What if I do this and that happens? That kind of energy. And just so the inner forces are what you have control over. So this is about upgrading to these two queens coming out, bang, bang. Hey, they want to maybe have a relationship with the Emperor. They want to attract his energy. So the best way to do that is raise your vibration so that you match what you want to attract. And so maybe Stella is actually my cat. She's got happy feet here and she's purring away. So maybe she's raising the vibration. This is a good start. So we have the Queen of Cups and now we have the Queen of Pentacles. And the Queen of Pentacles, she is focused on the pentacle, as you can see. And her energy is very much quality over quantity. She understands how to handle a dollar. The pentacles do represent money for sure, but they also do represent health, wealth, happiness, and more like lifestyle than just money. You can have a lot of money and still have a lifestyle that you don't enjoy. So this is talking about quality over quantity, and like not flashy money. This is talking generally when you see the Queen of Pentacles, it's someone who comes from old money, not flashing it around, not purchasing things to impress people, that kind of energy. And also she's known to be very resourceful, so she can make something out of nothing and make it look really good. And that's the kind of energy. And then we have the Page of Swords. So the Page of Swords, when the pages come in, it represents this communication coming in on some form. Now this communication can be coming as an email, a text, it could be a phone call, a letter in the mail, it could be a social media post, it could be something that's on the news, or it could be your higher self sending you a message. The swords represent your thoughts, your intellect, and like your control of your mind. And so the energy here is talking about the pages would be like 7 to 14 years of age when they would begin to work in the court, and they would generally come from families in the area that were probably higher, upper class families. This always reminds me of golfing, and the energy is basically that this person, like when all the other pages, they're really focused on their element, and this is the only page he's looking away from it, and that's because he's already given it thought, and he's not thinking like overthinking it. He's looking like, okay, which way do I want this to go? And using his creative ability to, and his intuition to bring a creative solution to the problem. So he's not caught up in his thoughts, basically. This is someone that is a forward thinker and thinks outside of the box kind of energy. And then we have, and the other part is that the ability to have freedom is dependent on your discipline of your mind. If you can discipline your mind, then you automatically have freedom, because you're not in a thinking loop all the time. You're not having to have a board meeting to make a decision with yourself, So it's kind of an energy of the mix of the logic and the intuition combined to come to creative solutions. Excuse me, I've got the hiccups. To come to creative solutions. And the thing about golf is it's a very mental sport. So, you're not, when you go on the golf course, you're not competing with the people that you're golfing with. What you're competing is the last score you had on that course. And that's kind of the attitude. If you take that attitude into the business world or into sports or whatever, it takes you far. And that's why you'll find a lot of businessmen and politicians and people who have time, that are at the top of their game there, they like to go out on the golf course, because you can tell a lot about someone by the way they play golf. Like, do they lose their temper? Like, that kind of energy. And then we have the King of or the Knight of Pentacles. So the knights are like a grown-up version of the pages. When the pages are about 21. If they could afford a horse, then they could possibly be put up for knighthood. And so the Knight of Pentacles is bringing an information in of some sort also, but this information is about the pentacle. And so it's about health, wealth, happiness. And the thing about the Knight of Pentacles is he's the slowest moving knight in the deck, to the point where his horse is at a standstill. And that energy is talking about the energy of being kind of like not lost in thought so much, but not knowing, okay, he's probably gotten the information from this. So this could be, this page could have brought information to these two queens. And I feel like these two queens might possibly represent one person who has the qualities of the Queen of Cups and the Pentacle quality. And then the message is coming in regarding them, or her, let's just say. And then this energy is about the Pentacles part of it. So, and it could be something to do with the Emperor. Maybe the Emperor has sent the message to his queen, that kind of energy. I mean, I know an Emperor has an Empress, but she might be almost an Empress, like, if that makes sense to you. And I want you to keep in mind that these are archetypes. So the king or the Emperor could be a male in his masculine energy, which is most likely, but it could also be a very masculine thinking female. And then this energy here, you know, this could be a male in their feminine energy as well. So the energy here of the Knight of Pentacles is when he brings in his element of the Pentacle there, it usually is a pretty solid offer because it's taken time. It's not something that he's rushed into. The problem with this energy is sometimes by the time he gets there, like, it's not, the problem has already been solved or not solved. And they could have really used the information, but it took him so long to get there because he was pondering which direction to go, right? That's the energy. So it's good to reflect on what to do. But again, you don't want to be having a board meeting with yourself just to make every decision, right? That's procrastination. That's what this is representing. But the thing about this horse showing up, just because of the particular time we're in right now, this is an end of the month reading for you, Sagittarius. And this kind of energy is the most frustrating for Sagittarius of all, is coming to a standstill. Like, Sagittarius energy is more like we're moving into, on the February 14th or 17th, we'll be moving into the Chinese New Year. That's the first day of the Chinese New Year, is on the 17th of February. And that is going to be moving into the year of the fiery horse. And so the year of the fiery horse is very similar to Sagittarius energy, like the centaur energy, and, you know, like bringing the bow and arrow and taking action and targeting what you want to make, and then hitting the bullseye kind of energy. So the year of the fiery horse, the energy that it has is very free-spirited, and also it can be like, for career, it's setting very high goals, like, and really looking towards making very high achievements and being very passionate about what you do. And in the love life, it's also very passionate and, you know, really intense, like, because horses have like big hearts. That's the energy. And the dangers of this sign for Sagittarius, because you already have lots of that in you, is like you add more fuel to the fire. With the fire horse energy, it can be very impulsive, and it also can be very aggressive. And the other part of it is that it can make people feel like, oh, I've got to hurry up and get this done. I got to gallop, like I got to run, that kind of energy. And when you get, it's kind of, you can really burn yourself out with this energy, like burning the candle at both ends kind of energy. And the other thing is if you've ever seen, you know, if it's really impulsive energy, if you've ever seen, like, been on a horse and riding a horse, or you've seen it happen where a horse pulls the bit out of into the front of its mouth and it chomps its teeth down on it, it'll run. And like, especially if it's spooked, that's when that happens. It can run for miles, and you're not, like, all you can do is hang on, because that horse at that point is not going to be able to be controlled by anyone. The reins won't work, because the reins work by putting pressure on the corners of the mouth, and that's how the horse knows. But if it has it in its teeth, it's just going, you know, and so it's a real, very, like, if you are going in the wrong direction on foot, you're going to get tired and you're going to stop. You'll have to stop. And usually, like, if people are really angry, you know, if you go for a run, you'll find, like, oh, halfway through the run, you forget what you were even angry about. And so you turn around and go back home kind of energy. Oh, I just needed to get some energy out, kind of energy like that. So the danger with the fiery horse energy is being really impulsive and doing something and then going really far with it, so you can't really turn back. That's, I mean, using your words, your actions, etc., right? So that energy is coming up, and we can already feel it. And we just had the new moon last night as I'm doing this reading, and I fell a little bit behind, so I apologize. I'm doing this in the morning here, and I'm putting it out as soon as I finish it. I didn't get it out with the other two I normally do because my website was having issues. So I was busy dealing with that energy. That's the kind of energy we're kind of in right now. So we just had the new moon last night, and this energy, and you know, you can really feel it 3 days before and after with the moons. And this energy of the new moon, this new moon is in the sign of Capricorn, and that energy is very much about building and building shift. So Capricorn energy is represented by the it's by the sea goat. So the front end of the sea goat is like a mountain goat that's climbing a mountain, but the back end is got a dolphin tail on it. So you can imagine climbing a mountain with that equipment, right? And at its best, the Capricorn energy is very responsible, very disciplined, and takes one consistent step after another, like smaller steps, but consistently. So they put the thought into it, then they make the step. And that's why when the offer comes in, like when it has to do with pentacles, Capricorn energy is all about pentacles. It's the most mature of all the pentacle signs. And so a big part of that is money. So when this information comes in slow like this, it means it's usually a very solid offer that you know, and it could be a legacy for wealth. We're talking about generational wealth, something that you can pass down to your children's children sort of energy. So that's the energy we have here. And also, because the magician showed up here, the magician, besides having the infinity symbol here, he has an Ouroboros around his waist, which is a snake biting its own tail. And we are leaving the year of the snake to move into this fiery horse energy. There's going to be a full moon on February 1st. So there's all this moon energy, this new energy coming in from from the year change, because we just moved into, you know, from January 1st. We're only like 19-20 days into the year now. And we also have this new moon in Capricorn, which is a real driving force. And then right on the horizon, we have this energy from the fire horse energy. And on February 1st, we have a full moon in Leo. So it's a lot of fire energy. It's something that people need to be aware of. That's why I'm doing this. I'm going to do the bonus reading for the full moon before I do the beginning of the month one, because I think people need to be aware that it's not a good time to lose your temper. It's not a good time to be impulsive. It's a really good time to release whatever is not working for you. And that's what snakes do. They shed their skin. So get that done before February 1st when the full moon is there in the sign of Leo. And I feel like then by the time the 17th comes along, you'll be in good shape, you know, to really move forward. So it's kind of right now, it's so like you can get so much further ahead in the year, just in this next week and a half, just by being really mindful of that there's all this energy supporting new projects and reviving old projects, because we still have till January 26th, we still have this energy of Neptune moving from Pisces into Aries. And that's been going on for 14 years. In the last year, it's been back and forth and back and forth. The thing is about Neptune, it's a very, it's a very big energy, and it supports dreams. Like in Pisces, it's like, if you have something that you started working on and it kind of went, you know, fell stagnant like that, that energy, it's talking about, this would be the perfect time to revive it. Like just take little consistent steps of action towards doing that. And the energy is super supportive of that until like the 26th of January. It's kind of like this energy of, okay, this is your last chance to bring that dream alive. You will not have that type of energy coming in from Neptune for another probably 160 years, I think it is, or something close to that, because it's 14 years in every sign. And so this is like kind of like a last chance to revive an old project that was like something you really wanted to do. And, you know, just showing the universe that, hey, I'm going to take these consistent steps of action in this Capricorn energy with this new moon right now, and then letting go of anything that's holding you back for the full moon on the 1st. Then we're moving into that fire horse energy on the 17th. So it's really, I don't want people to miss this opportunity. I've been really busy organizing and making sure I have things in place and working on systems to get them just a little bit every day, so that I'm showing the universe, hey, I'm really dedicated to getting this project moving. And that's the kind of energy that you want to take advantage of right now. And the only danger of that, I said again, really, it's such awesome energy for getting shift done and starting, and like starting a company that you always wanted to start, or, you know, writing that book that you've been planning to write, like write a page of it, you know, that's the kind of energy. And this energy, the only danger is burning yourself out by doing too much, like, and having your goals too big in a too short of time frame. So it's not about that. It's not about forcing it. It's just about doing a little bit each day to get the ball rolling. And then you'll notice all of a sudden things start taking off if you apply yourself to that right now. And here we have the moon coming up showing, yes, I'm very important. And like sometimes the moon energy doesn't have this effect so much, but it's the combination of all these factors right now that it's such awesome energy to move forward in. And so that's what this is saying, like this lobster is climbing out of the water. This represents emotional waters, like not being emotional and allowing yourself to, you know, go down that path. And you notice he's got to pass by this domestic dog and this coyote or this wolf here, and they're both howling at the moon, and he has to just, you know, be vulnerable going through there, but it's worth it for him to do so and just keep going. And it's going to take him a while. He's a lobster. So he's not that fast on land. And so these two pillars are representing staying on that path. And this is representing the full moon, the new moon, and the sun. Because the sun will, from the opposite sign, is shining energy down on the full moon. So it's like really any illusions that are hidden will be coming out. So that's why I feel like we have here some information coming in. You know, it's got to do with words or paperwork or something like that, it feels like. And then we have this energy that's been taking a really long time coming in about abundance. And I feel like it could be money here. So, and we're talking about the whole reading being an energetic upgrade and about applying yourself for the performance. That's why I'm taking the time, Sag, to explain how beneficial this energy could be for you. And then we have, because for Sagittarius, it's even more that way, because the fire horse energy, you already understand that. If you're a Sag, you understand it. And look at that. It's showing that the Two of Cups here. So this is talking about your soulmate coming in. So this is about having like the unconditional love and all the ability, the abundance to do your project. Now that's pretty awesome. And if it's an emperor that's supporting you, then you're in really good shape. I love this energy. This is really good. All right, we have the identity. How you identify yourself right now is that you have unconditional love, and you have the abundance. You feel like you're the Queen of Pentacles, so good for you. And then the communication is regarding your early life. So this is, I feel like this is saying that you've been taught how to deal with like money and love, and that you've had a pretty strong upbringing. Regardless of whether your upbringing was perfect or not, that's not the point, but you learned the lessons you need to learn about like how the world works. And so perhaps you were raised by an entrepreneur or something like that. Like, so you have a pretty good idea, pretty good role models here. And then we have the emotional foundation here. So this is feeling maybe at this time like you may be considering, like, should I work on this project or should I work on this, or what should I do? Should I let this go? Should I put my money in this? Where should I invest my time and energy? And so this is the perfect reading for you then. And we have, this is about your creativity. This is talking like the moon, in the times of the new moon and the full moon is a really creative time. It's when your intuition is heightened, and that's when you'll get those aha moments, and so that could represent that, where all of a sudden you're just going for a walk or something and you go, aha, I got it. That's what I was thinking of. That's the aha moment. And it's like, I should do a business like that, and pay attention to that, especially around this time. And then we have the daily routines and the habits in that. And so this here is saying that you may be having, if you're looking for love, unconditional love at that, from a soulmate, then now is the time to put that kind of energy out there. So this is really a powerful reading. So this is talking about, now we're going to move into the external forces, and let's get the underlying energy. Look at the sun. This is awesome. So the sun is the happiest card in the deck, and that's for the external forces coming in towards you. Hey, this is the best reading so far, Sag. Maybe that's why we waited a day for it, for the new moon energy to fully come in here. So this is talking about you're destined for being a very happy, bountiful individual, and if things have been going a little bit rough for you, this is saying, hey, it's going to be changing. And we just moved from, we just moved into the new year 2026, and that's a 1 year. It's 2 + 2 + 6 is 10, and then you take that down to a 1. It's talking about a new 10-year cycle starting here, and that we ended the 10-year cycle at 2025. So the energy is really different from 2025. You may have noticed that. I feel like all of a sudden all this, if you watch the news at all, I like to watch the news for about 5 minutes so I know what's going on. And the thing about watching the news, a lot of people that are in the spiritual community say, oh, don't watch the news and that. You want to keep your reality just your reality. You don't need to bring that energy in. But what's happening at the very top in the world, with the leaders and with what's going on globally, definitely has an effect on each and every one of us. And you'll notice that what's happening on the news, you can probably think of someone that's going through the same thing, but on a smaller scale in their own life. And that's why it's important to kind of keep on top of things. And so this is saying that you've been destined to be a happy, fulfilled individual here. These are really awesome cards, and especially at this time. And that this banner that you're carrying, it's kind of representing the spiritual side as well as the physical side. And you're riding a horse. And so I really feel like this energy, and look how carefree this little child is on this horse. And there's the sunflowers in the background saying, sunflowers follow the sun for happiness, and the sun is God. So this is saying you're on your destined path at this time. And so if it hasn't quite come in yet, be patient. It's on its way. That's the energy. Really, really awesome energy. And then, oh, look at, now the Empress is out. You see that? That is representing, that's saying, yes, you are on the cusp of being an Empress, and there is an Emperor that has his eye on you as an energetic upgrade. So that's the energy. Wow. So that's a pretty good, pretty good external force. The external forces, quite often, when they come in, they can be what the EF happened. And this is more like, what the EF happened? It's like a happy happening. Yes, this is talking about a transition. So this is very interesting, because this is your position of commitment, marriage, and partnerships. And then So it's talking about whatever you've been through. It could have been really hard, and you probably are very tired of it, and wondering when, what the EF happened and when is this going to change. But this energy is saying it's already in the making, and that you're upgrading to the Empress status because of all the good work that you've put in, that you have stayed on your destined path. And then this Death card is, a lot of people get upset by that, but the energy here is saying there's a major transition, and birth and death are birth and rebirth, or sorry, death and rebirth. It's kind of like they're very similar. This flag here represents that there's light at the end of the tunnel. And if you think about, a baby being born, coming down the tunnel into the light, and the same thing when people talk about that have had near-death experiences, they'll talk about coming through the dark and into the light. So it's that kind of energy. And you notice there's 3 horses here. So pay attention to your intuitive insights right now. This king being trampled here represents the energy that it really represents systems, old systems being taken down and being replaced with new ones. That's the kind of energy. And you see the sun coming up between the 2 pillars, similar to here. The other thing is this position for this card is about transformation in your life, and death and secrets that are and shared resources also. So if you've got if you're upgrading to the Empress, that's like having all 4 queens from the minor arcana rolled into one. And remember again, the Emperor can be female in her masculine energy, and this can be a male in his feminine energy, because they are archetypes. So now the Page of Swords, we now have the Knight of Swords. So like this is a grown-up version of the Page of Swords. So this energy, look at that. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 horses already on here. This is totally sad. And but look at it almost is like this energy of this knight. This sometimes represents a fool rushing in. You notice he doesn't have, you can't see the point of their swords here. And so it's talking about not having the full information at this time. It's kind of like this is like a breath of fresh air. And this is like, it almost is like he's running away from this energy. Like, look at the difference in the energy. And from this transition, it's almost like this information is, no, we don't want this to happen. We don't want the Empress, we don't want her to be an Empress and have this transition and be so happy. That's not a good thing. Now, why would that be? I'm not sure. But that's the energy that I feel is coming in. And so this is talking about it could be just running towards to give some information, because again, this is information. But look how stressed out the horse is, and how like he's really driving this horse, right? This is almost like the horse has the bit in its mouth energy, but it's not. It's more like the Knight of Swords is in like a fool rushing in kind of energy. Look at they're running against the wind, and the territory they're running through is very barren. So let's see, what's this about? Okay, and then we look at this. We have the energy of the Chariot. So okay, I get it. Some sort of, someone is wanting to get some information to someone else regarding this transition, and they want to do it before you arrive at your destination. This is talking about, like, the Chariot is also that energy of, hey, this is moving really fast right now, but this is moving really fast because it's being guided by God, and you're on your divine path. And so this little child on a pony is holding this heavy banner, and they're not having any problem whatsoever. And look at, they're not stressed out. So this is someone bringing in information about, oh, hey, look what's happening here. Why? I'm not sure yet, but the Chariot represents the energy of you know, you're on your destined path. You don't have any need for reins. And the Chariot's kind of like a bulldozer. Like, look at it. Like it's going to make it there. Like it's already destined to happen kind of energy. And because you've been on your path, it's there. Sometimes this can represent law and order on the physical realm, like the black and white, you know, the black and white cars that the sheriff's office and the police have. So this is talking sometimes about, you know, it could be indictments or arrests or something like that coming in, or some sort of information regarding law and order coming in. And that quite often the emperor can be like someone like who's a judge or someone in a high position to be able to make that happen, like make judgments and that happen. What position is this here? We have the higher learning and travel and education here. So this is Sag energy. Like this is like the house of Sagittarius. So it's talking about travel, higher learning, etc. And that's coming in a hurry. But this person is rushing to tell someone. This energy is very different. And from all of this, these are external forces, and it's talking about this energy. You notice like the Empress, this energy coming in, this energy, the Magician. The sky is all this color, which means that God is shining his light on that. So yeah, there's some sort of judgment coming in. And that's external from you, Sag. So if you've been waiting for some money to come in, it might be on its way. That's the energy that's coming up. If it's something legal or something that's happened that way, it's whatever. See, the Magician is pointing to this card, to the sun, saying, hey, you're going to be very happy and be able to bring that down to earth. And that's for the entire reading here. And the external forces, this is saying all of the external forces are being controlled by God. This is like everything that's, so if you're feeling really anxious and kind of off, it could be because of this energy coming in. Like this is like, if you've been waiting for some sort of information regarding legalities or money of some kind, that information I feel is coming in. Some sort of judgment has been made and it's come all the way from the top. Like this is like from the spiritual realm. When spiritual court is in session, then automatically that comes down to the 3D. And so that's talking about judgment. This has already, it's in motion already. So that's the energy here. And look at, we have the ancestors coming out of their box because it's something new. Like this is like, yay, finally. And sometimes this can represent skeletons coming out of the closet down the family line. And it also can represent Pandora's box being opened. So yeah, some sort of, that's why this person, this feels very anxious energy. This feels like, it's some sort of new information coming in. But now it's evolved into this kind of, and it could be like you, Sag, you might have had, this might be, you had this great thought and you've implemented it. And you've put that, you're already putting the consistent steps of action in. And so it's powerful energy right now. And look at all the horses out here. And the Chariot. So that's really like saying things are moving. And like 1, 2, like 3, 4, 5 cards out of just this many saying, hey, this is moving. And then the other ones are the happiest card in the deck, the Emperor, the Empress, the 2 queens, the Magician. Like really, the only 2 cards here that are like iffy are these 2. Interesting. I feel you had a great thought, implemented it, and this energy is talking about no, because whatever, maybe the judgment is to do with something around, this is like something major changed here. And this is like in the position, this is in the Scorpio energy of something in that position has like come to an abrupt halt. It's like, boom. And then look at this. This is the passion for new discovery. So this is a gift from the universe and from God, saying this is a gift from us for you staying on the path. And this is talking about really being able to move forward in a passionate way, like your life being really, like if you've been unhappy, you're going to be happy. Just chill, like hang in there if it's been rough, because it's changing. It's already in the heavens. It's already changed. Wow, I love this. This is a really good reading. This is the best one so far, for sure, without a doubt. I'm glad I waited. This is really, really good energy. So if you're enjoying this as much as I am, please do like and comment. And if not, we know, no. But if you like and comment, it does help me build my channel. So, and the other thing we're going to do now is clarify this, just to see, is there anything else we can do? Like, this energy is just percolating, man. This isn't for everybody, because this is really like, and just notice that sometimes when you feel excitement, it can feel like anxiety instead. They're very similar. Anxiety and excitement and anxiety are very similar feeling in the body. My cat is running around like a maniac. She's got the zoomies. She's being a real pain in the butt. But she's just like flying around here like, oh, just like she's feeling this energy too. It's annoying though, because when she gets like that, she got like that the other day, and she fell into the tub and there was water in the tub, and then she panicked and and then she came running into the living room, and she knocked a big bowling ball sized crystal off its stand. Luckily it's on a low stand, because I have a cat and I know it's heavy, and the crystal started rolling towards her, and she thought it was chasing her. Well, she like, it was the funniest thing. She's still mad at me because I couldn't stop laughing. Like, every time I think about it, it was just like what? How could you have that many bad things, like have that many disasters happen in like under less than a minute, unless you were a cat, you know? Like, they can be so intelligent, and then, oh my gosh, sometimes you think, whoa, what's wrong with you? Oh, it was funny to watch. Like, it was like, oh my goodness, like this cat. And the thing was, it all started because she jumped up on a counter she knew she shouldn't, and slid, you know, she tried to climb into my basket that holds my toilet paper, and she shouldn't have done that. And then she knocked it over because it's wobbly, and that's when she fell in the tub. And I had been cleaning, and I had this water in the bottom of the tub with detergent in it, you know, because I was washing the floor in the bathroom and scrubbing the tub out, and I forgot to let the water out. Well, good Lord. Anyway, I'll get back to the reading, but she's calming down now. It's very distracting when she's doing that. So I'm going to be clarifying this with my oracle, Tales from the Vector, and that is TAILS. And I have a website, talesfromthevector.com. It's back up again and running. In there, I have a gallery with the paintings, and the numbers on these cards represent the paintings as they're listed there. And you can look them up if you want to. I'll have in the description box the order that they appear here. Sorry for getting off course there, but I couldn't concentrate with her. She's calmed down now. Okay, here we go. So Saggy energy. So, okay, there we have it. Okay, so this is funny. The card that popped out finally here is the Magician. Confirming the Magician. This is saying this is an energetic upgrade. Enjoy it. That's why the cat's probably so happy. And then the underlying energy for this is the Hangman. So it's talking about having that balance. So the Hangman hangs from the Tree of Knowledge, and they hang upside down because he's hanging upside down because he wants to get a totally different perspective on whatever the issue is. And he hangs there until his head lights up. And when his head lights up, then he knows, okay, I know what to do now. It's a combination of the knowledge coming in from his logic and his intuition. And it's talking about having that balance then, and that's when you can move forward. That's when you know it's not going to be impulsive. And in my oracle, it's a dragonfly, and it's on echinacea, so it's very healing energy. And then we have intention. So this is talking about, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. This can be a karmic space. So again, it's talking about, this is sitting on the energy of unconditional love. It's good to have unconditional love, but at the same time, you also have to make sure that you're looking after your needs around that. So it's like making sure that it's not that the love part is perfectly fine, but the other part of not seeing the ugly side of people sometimes. Like, you need to sometimes be able to see that as well. It doesn't mean you can't love someone, but it does mean you might not want to do business with them, right? And then, yes, I can see you've been having a crazy moment again. Okay, so an abuse of power. This is talking about, someone like, I feel like, as I said, the queen, she has a lot of money, but you wouldn't know it a lot of the time because she doesn't flaunt it. And I feel like that's kind of the energy, sometimes people who have more than others, they have a tendency to flaunt that power and abuse it. There's another karmic space coming out. Wow, jealousy. So this is talking about perhaps people there might be some energy behind this where other people know about what's happening here, and you don't even know what you don't know, but they do, that kind of energy. And it's saying I'd rather be better than bitter. And this is talking about sibling rivalry. Now, we're all siblings in God's plan on the earth. Like, we're all brothers and sisters on the planet, although it seems like there's a lot of distance sometimes between us culturally, etc. But we are. And so it's saying that we're all we all have the ability to uplift each other, basically, and we all have the ability to be jealous. But this could be an indication, if there's something going on here, legal or whatever, that it could be to do with your siblings. So just keeping that in mind. We have the High Priestess here. So when the Fool starts their journey, they go to the magician first, and then the next stop is the High Priestess. And so the High Priestess is a card of joy. Actually, in my oracle, it's the poinsettia, representing the Christmas energy, and a beautiful dragonfly that is representing the birth of Jesus Christ. And so it's that kind of energy of the maternal energy, of the Most High, basically, and a joyful energy, because the High Priestess sits like on her throne right next to God, and is very happy to be there. So there's a difference though between happiness and joy. It's kind of like joy to the world. So this is on a bigger scale energy. That's really nice to see coming in also. As I said, what's happening on the upper comes down to the lower. So as chaotic as it may seem right now in the world, and it does, it's because we're moving into this new energy. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be all roses and it's going to be perfect, but it's going to be different from what we have been experiencing in the last 10 years. And so we need to just kind of prepare ourselves. And look, we have now another karmic space coming in. When all of these karmic spaces come in, I'm just going to explain this, because a lot of people aren't aware, they have a different viewpoint on karma. A lot of people talk about karma like it's punishment, and really when you start to understand that the universe is not a chaotic place. It seems chaotic at times because we have expansion and then we have contraction, and when it's expanding, things kind of go phew, and then it comes back together. And that because the natural order, like if you look at nature, it's very orderly. Everything is in order. We have a very mathematical God. That's why they say cleanliness is next to godliness. Talk to Virgos about that. Like, that Virgo energy is like keeping things in order. And keeping things clean. And that's that kind of energy. So this is talking about when we have karma, it's actually just cause and effect for our actions. So it's not a punishment coming in unless you've been doing things that are against like universal law and causing disorder in the world and disorder to other people and doing it purposefully. And sometimes even when you're not doing it purposely, because you got to learn not to do it. That's the kind of energy. And so you can have direct karma from what you did. Like, okay, I did this and I admit I did this and this is my karma. You can have indirect karma, which comes from your ancestors and even from your descendants. And so that can be like your ancestors did something and they didn't clean it up before they crossed the veil. And so now their descendants have to clean it up. And if they're descendants, it's kind of like when there's national debt and you keep passing it down to the next generation, making their lives more difficult to be productive. And so that's the indirect. And then you also have like karmic spaces that we all fall into. It's not really, it's, you know, if you are living on planet Earth, you are going to be in a big learning curve when it comes to a lot of things. And so we all make mistakes. So these karmic spaces are places that you can really fall into, and and they can really cause a lot of problems for you. And one of them is indifference. So it's kind of like when I talk about neutrality in my readings, I'm talking about getting neutral to the two extremes so that your emotions don't run away and you do something that you regret later. You know, like you get neutral enough that you can really, okay, like you can see both sides of it and then make a decision. Whereas this indifference is you cause other people suffering, and you intentionally do it because you want what they have. And so that's the kind of when these all of these karmic spaces come up, it's talking about that as difficult as your journey may have been, you're cleaning up a lot of karma, and it's not necessarily yours. It might be your ancestors. That's why they're cheering you on. This is talking here when this much karma is being cleared, that you're clearing generational curses like that are holding the whole bloodline back. So this is really, really powerful energy. That's probably why my cat's running around like she's calm now though. She's purring again now. So she needed to get that out of her system. So this is the Taurus energy. So this is talking, and also when the signs come up in a collective general reading, I'm not talking like, oh, that person is a Taurus, you know, or that person is this sign. This is when I'm using these as the state of being. And so Taurus energy is about give and take, and it's learning give and take in the world. And if you think about like the stage of life, it's the second sign that in the zodiac. And so it's like at a toddler level of energy. Toddlers are very lovable and adorable, but they haven't learned to give and take properly yet. And so a lot of times they don't want to share, and if you make them share, then they'll have a temper tantrum. And that's the kind of energy that we have to be really careful of right now. And you know, a lot of people will say, oh, the Taurus energy is very stubborn, but it's maybe more determined, I say. I have a bit of that in my chart. And my mom was a Taurus, and she was very kind, but she was that way. Like if she got a thought in her head, she could be really stubborn with it, you know, that like, and you know, that energy, you have to learn how to adapt to the give and take in life. And so we have the transition here of death, again being pointed out, and that this is saying the sun has you covered, don't worry about it. This is rebirth, not so much transition. The transition is a happy transition. You're going to enjoy it. That's what it's saying. And then we have, there was a blind spot here in the past. It's going commitment, marriage, and partnerships. So you might have not been able to see certain things about the energy here, the way you were raised, the way you've been handling your personal relationships. The Taurus energy is ruled by Venus, and that's actually rules the Emperor energy as well. So this is about, or the Empress energy, sorry. And so this rules this energy is very loving, you know, like you think about toddlers, how sweet they are and inquisitive in that. But there's something maybe that you are not seeing about your relationships when it came to partnerships and marriage and real serious commitments that you need to take a look at within yourself if you want to have like that. And I feel like you've done that work, because now you're at this Empress stage. So the energy then next is the All-Star. And so the All-Star is talking about the third eye chakra. So that's about making sure that you use your intuition, as we said here, as well as your logic when you're making decisions. And we have the World here. So the World is talking about, and this is in your higher education. So I feel like you're like, if you're at this level and you've been working on this, on working on your inner self, you know, and working towards being a better version of yourself and staying on your path kind of energy. What's happened is now, like, you're at that stage now where you've done, like the Fool, he goes through that cycle and he starts at the 0 point, and this is talking about you've achieved something, like you're at the end of that cycle. And so if it's been kind of a rough last 10 years, just chill out. It's going to get better, and a lot of people are starting to feel that. You don't have to be a Sag, but this is really affecting the Sag energy because of the fiery horse coming in. Then we've got the Gemini, and that's okay, already having learned. See, this is saying you have learned. You know, when you first go to school, that kind of energy, when you realize, oh, there's more to life than just my parents and my home. And talking about Mercury rules the Gemini energy, and that's about communication, learning how to communicate better, how to put creative solutions and logic into being, and that kind of. So that's like, right, that's what it's saying. This is where you are now, where you have a lot more learning than you had before. And we have the guiding star, which is kind of going back to this energy here. The guiding star is the star that it's your North Star, it's your purpose. And if you follow your North Star, you get rewarded, you know. And energy, this is the star that guided the wise men to Jesus Christ when he was born. And so that we have that energy there. And we have the final, okay, deception. So again, this is what's saying here, is learning the lessons about who you choose to partner up with and the commitments that you make. Like, if you raise your vibration to the level of an Empress, then you're going to attract like Emperor energy. You're not going to attract Emperor energy if you don't put some work into yourself, you know, to have all this, upgrading your energy. And so it's so funny that we have the two magicians together here saying, yeah, like, this is a really big upgrade. We have the Sun, we have the Emperor and the Empress, we have the the Chariot here, Judgment's here. Pretty much, what more could you ask for, Sag? Please give it a like and comment if you've enjoyed this reading, and consider subscribing if you resonate with the energy. And I will be back. I'm going to do a reading first. The next set of zodiac or astrological readings will be regarding the full moon coming up on February 1st. Bye for now, Sag.